Welcome back to Studio 5. You're live, but are you living? Sounds like sort of a deep question, but the meaning behind that, are you soaking up the moments that you're actually existing in? It seems like a fleeting goal of women and of mothers, and it's something my next guest is in pursuit of as well. Studio 5 contributor Connie Sokol is an author and speaker who has identified 5 ways to practice more mindful living. And this isn't something you master, right? It's something that you're always... She laughs.
Otherwise I'd stop doing segments on it. Oh my gosh.
We're constantly chasing
this. Yes, and it's so easy to say, oh, be more mindful, but it's so frantic in our daily living, and it takes conscious energy to do it. It really does, an actual choice.
You've boiled it down to some simple ways that we can recharge and continue to march toward this goal. And the first one is simply to be present, to be in the now.
2 simple words, but so difficult. And I saw a quote the other day that had something like, mindfulness is looking at life in a meaningful way, a particular way with purpose. And I love that. You look at something in a particular way with purpose. You're not just sitting there chanting or umming. And I thought, that's what we can do. We can just take a minute in our lives and just really feel it, and either with our senses or take a mental snapshot or do something that says, I'm remembering this. This is what makes today different than yesterday.
You had the perfect setting to practice this the last week or so.
And I kind of call it a daily pause. And I try to do it once a day. And we were in Hawaii with our family for a trip, and it was so great. And we had talked with the kids, not like this big official talk, but more of pointing out things, the salty tang of the sea and these different things, and the holes in the sand and the crabs. If they were really still, the things that they could see and hear, and the crabs would hop up and skitter on the sand. And one night, I remember, it was right before we left, the sun was setting, and this glorious pastel and golden through these clouds, and they were all boogie boarding, and I was holding chubs in the waves, and we're standing there, and I just saw them laughing and we're bantering, and I just thought, I am soaking this in. I feel this moment. I can still see it, and I thought, that's what I'm going to take away.
I love the challenge, too, to just count a few seconds each day as your pause. It doesn't have to be a big extended hour where you are marinating in the moment. It's a couple seconds where you are just there.
That's right. You say, this chocolate chip sundae is to die for. In melting in the moment. That's right.
Take a daily pause. I love that. You say letting go of the negative past is also crucial to allowing yourself to enjoy these moments.
You know, what's funny is sometimes I think we don't really recognize that the past, really what we can get from it is to remember it or to learn from it. But you know, if we allow the clutter of the negative or the anger or bitterness, it clutters. It's almost like putting gloves on our emotions right now, and we can't fully enjoy today if we just keep hanging on to what isn't going to help us move forward from the past.
And it seems for a lot of people, it's like, I can't quite figure out what it is. I can't put my finger on what is bringing me down. And oftentimes, if we point to the past, you can maybe figure that out.
Yes, and that's something to recognize, that the past is really a growing thing. I remember hearing someone say that everything you're experiencing now is preparing you for what's coming ahead. And if we look at it that way, we can kind of take the good and let go of the bitter. I was reading this article by Jonathan Sandberg, and it's marvelous, but he was talking about Nelson Mandela. And when he first entered prison, they described him as being too emotional, too passionate with a temper, and too quickly stung, which they meant by saying easily offended. And yet 27 years later, when he left prison, Mandela described himself as being balanced and measured and controlled. And so they were like saying, what happened in prison that you felt like you would come out like that? And he said, I came out mature. And I thought, that is so true. Our past can mature us if we choose. And so if we can take that good, let go of the negative, we can be right now creating the past that's going to be later on. We can feel it. We can live in it. And I think C.S. Lewis talks about that in the Screw Tape Letters, where he said, as their job of trying to tempt people, he says, you know, our job is to keep them in the future, because then it's unreality. It hasn't happened yet. And their happiness is this over the rainbow thing. So keep them focused on that instead of right now.
You talk about this being a patient process. You really have to have patience, right, to get through it.
And it's so good that I talk about patience. It is the biggest joke. I think I do like 25 segments on that, because I'm trying to get it down. I think what's great about being patient is that it really is the solution to mindful living, to really feeling joyful and fulfilled. So find your own coping skill. I'm just going to throw out a couple. One is maybe a little more stretching self-discipline. I've learned to say 1 more minute. I have 7 children, but 5 of them that actively talk to me all the time about every thought that comes to their mind. And I have to have a roadmap sometimes going through the details of their day. And I get to a point where I'm like, I'm done. And I've learned to say 1 more minute. I can listen for 1 more minute, because this is important to them. And sometimes I'll even say, Mom's got 1 more minute, so you might want to wrap this up before I lose it. You know, something like that, and lets them know. But just, it stretches my ability to be patient. So just 1 more minute. Another thing that might be helpful is a little sense of humor. I think humor is probably the main coping skill that works for pretty much anything, but a fun humor, a kind humor, but humor nonetheless. A friend of mine has this wonderful help that needs to be in every home. It's called the no button, and you just smile at your children and then...
Did you hear me? No way, absolutely not, not ever.
Nope. And my favorite is not a chance. And you just smile at your child and go,
no.
That's right. And so it helps to have a little bit of humor, and then they get the point.
Connie,
Mom's done.
You're great. Living in the moment. You're helping us do that a little bit more fully. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to hold it together. You have an 8-week challenge coming up.
Yes, we're starting next week. So excited. 1 new life area a week, and we've got a great discount on books if you want Faithful, Fit, and Fabulous. And if you purchase, you get a free bonus video, a teaching video. It's a great, juicy way to get started for change in the fall.
Can I?
Absolutely. Are you going to not start the challenge?
No. I'm doing the challenge.
Are you going to
I'm
reject
just having fun.
Avoid it?
Connie, you're great. Thank you so much. All right.